Well, the verdict came in late last night in the Kouri Richins trial. Unfortunately, the jury was bamboozled. The jury heard a long story from the prosecution about what a bad person Kouri was, what a terrible wife she was, and decided to convict her solely for being an unfaithful wife. They had no direct evidence of how the fentanyl got into the house, much less how it got into Eric's body. The prosecution basically told a long, interesting story about how the fentanyl possibly wound up in a sandwich that we were never able to test for the presence of fentanyl, and a story about how fentanyl wound up in the cup of a Moscow mule that we also never got to test. We never had any definitive proof that Kouri was in possession of fentanyl, or she's the one that gave it to Eric. Eric was well known for abusing drugs. To me, it's entirely plausible, within the shadow of a doubt, that he dosed himself up and that he didn't know it, but that he took 5 times the lethal amount of fentanyl. All of this happening in the midst of Kouri having plenty of reasons to want to be no longer married to Eric. All of these things happening in the background served to make her look guilty, which is really a shame, because as much as she is guilty of being a bad wife and having mean thoughts about Eric and all this, it doesn't mean that she got up sometime between 9 p.m. and 3 a.m. and lethally dosed her husband. They only heard the story from the prosecution. I think that it was a really bad move on the part of the defense to not offer an alternate story. What we saw with Karen Reed was that Karen Reed, her defense came up with this completely alternate scenario that took over the trial. As we covered it on Comm Center, everyone was trying to believe or wanting to believe or trying to suss out whether or not there was a conspiracy in the police departments in Massachusetts to convict Karen Reed. It was whether or not this conspiracy theory was ever accurate. The defense's narrative completely took over that trial, and that's why Karen Reed was able to get away with murder. In this case, the defense offered no plausible narrative. The prosecution came out, told a nice story about what they thought happened. The defense made the mistake of not coming up with an alternate reason or alternate scenario that might have explained how Eric's end came about through his own doing or someone else. The jury only heard one story, only had one thing to go by. And since they couldn't compare it to the likelihood of another story, when a case is entirely dependent on circumstantial evidence, that is to say, a story, and they had no physical evidence to go by, they were completely bamboozled, in my opinion. I'm not saying necessarily that Kouri didn't do it, but I don't think that the state met their burden of proof. I don't think that they proved beyond a shadow of a doubt. I think that they told a cool story, and I think that the jury went for it. And what makes me really sad is that if she is an innocent woman, she has to go to prison now, possibly for the rest of her life. And the greedy ambitions of the Richins family, who could never accept the fact that Eric might have killed himself accidentally or suffered the ignominy of suicide, will now get rewarded almost certainly in a civil trial, in which they will get custody of Eric's children and the $10 million estate of Eric. And to be honest, I think it's all pretty goddamn sad. Well, it's St. Patrick's Day, which I guess is an excuse to drink. I don't know. Is anyone in my audience still young enough to just need an excuse to drink and they just go for it? I don't know. I guess I could go nuts today. I'm on vacation. I'm on kind of a staycation this week. It's everything I thought it could be and more. I stayed up till 5 a.m. on Sunday morning preparing for the episode that aired later that day about the private eye. And then I slept until almost 5 p.m. I took a little Benadryl, just one. And I'm like, this will help me get some deep sleep. Maybe I'll sleep a little longer, maybe 9 hours, 10 at the outside. But when I woke up, the day was almost over. So the day really got away from me. Yesterday was a busy day. I was traveling hither and yon. Got the Challenger out of the garage for the first time in 18 months. So that was fun. Got to do some fun things yesterday. How are the people in my audience? I know that you don't like the fact that the show's happening at a different time. I know that's very inconvenient for most of you. Jenny had reached out to me and told me it doesn't really work for her. Shorty, I think it works better for her. She normally misses the shows because she has the unfortunate birthright being from the other side of the world. All of you are talking. Foxy, it's nice to see you here, especially since normally you don't watch the show. Tyler's here. All right, so some people are here. I would like to know if there actually is a good time to do the show. It seems like a lot of people were watching on Mondays, but now, on Mondays, I'm doing my therapy or whatever. I guess I could still hypothetically do it earlier on Mondays if I start moving my therapy sessions to telehealth and then I do the podcast a little earlier on Monday. I wouldn't have to drive. I could do that. Haircut? No, I just washed my hair. I'm just clean. I took a shower. I think normally you see me on here wearing a hat, and so I don't think you're used to seeing my hair. Actually, is what it is. It's actually a little bit longer than the last time you saw it. I was supposed to get a haircut today. Actually, I was supposed to get it in 25 minutes, but I canceled it because I didn't want to have to go anywhere today. So I moved it to next week. Very militant. I don't know why you would say militant since people in the military aren't allowed to have long hair. John is preparing for the draft. Too old for the draft. She's just stressed about a toddler. Yeah, sounds like Foxy. Waiting for John to say, that was my intro for Comm Center. No one's talking to me. You're talking amongst yourselves. Well, that is what you guys are doing. You don't need anything from me. My Pig Latin shirt has green. I'm very confused by this because I didn't make a Pig Latin shirt, so I would like to know who did. I very much don't get how you have a Pig Latin shirt. Someone else must have made it. It wasn't me, I guess. You guys, yep, no one's talking to me. Yes, this works for me. You're the only one this does work for because there's only 3 people here. That's pretty sad. Oh, Ranger Up made it. Oh, did they? I didn't know that. I didn't know that Ranger Up made t-shirts for Pig Latin. I don't know how I feel about that. Kind of got cut out. It doesn't feature any of my artwork, does it? Do I need to sue them? Should I check out their website? Maybe I'll do that before the end of the show, if I remember. I'm going to check out their website. It's because Eric works there now. Thank you, I know. But did they use my artwork without asking me for legal permission? Just curious. Because I should be seeing money from that if so. John is a Fed confirmed. I'm actually a county. I work for a county. So all your artwork, I have no idea. Well, that's worrisome. I will look into that because that means that they're getting money for stuff that I made. That would be problematic. All your artwork, I have no idea. So it is? They're using my artwork without permission. All right, guys, you just got Eric sued, so good job. Let's go into the memes. I'll start off lightly political. I'm not Islamophobic. I'm just aware of Islam and what it teaches. And it teaches to hate people like me. So pardon me if I'm not a fan. This is Joey Manarino. He's putting out some bangers out there. I'll talk about him more in just a minute. When you find out McDonald's is using humans as meat, of course Hillary Clinton is into it. Just makes sense. For some reason, I've known my entire life that Hillary Clinton is, pretty much the Antichrist, really terrible person. But for some reason, it's just not beyond believability to me that she would be eating the flesh of a human being. It's just, we've just gotten to that point in the Hillary Clinton narrative, that it used to be about power by any means necessary and all that, whether the Clinton years or years in the Senate or trying to defeat Donald Trump. Now it's, she likes to eat people. Guys, this is the ultimate showdown, though. Beethoven versus Trump. Who spent money on this sign? Beethoven's Ode to Joy, Brotherhood, Democracy, Moonlight Sonata. I like how two of his things about Beethoven are songs. I saw another meme this week that was like, can you imagine breaking up with your girl in the 1800s and then the Beethoven drops the Moonlight Sonata? It's like the OG sad song. Trump, ICE agents, racism, fascism, Epstein files. You guys have to choose now and for all time. The moment of choosing is at hand. Will it be Beethoven or Trump? Very weird. I don't know who paid money for that or what point they were trying to make. Oh no, I sure hope Iran doesn't take out one of our top secret nuclear facilities. Sure would be a shame if someone killed all the Philadelphia Eagles and all of their fans. We'd hate to see that happen. Combination of colors, red and yellow, makes people hungry. Of course, McDonald's and Burger King making people hungry. Tide, the whole Tide Pod thing did happen. If we search back in your mind before all the insanity of 2020, the pre-2020 insanity was the Tide Pod eating. And of course, communism also makes people hungry. This was basketball at one time in our world. Why is the riff so dripped out? Look at him. He looks like a banker. He has a hat on. I can tell you why basketball was such a classy and gentlemanly affair. How do I say this? It's because there are no basketball lovers there. If you take my meaning. Dad, where did we peak as a society? Which is something a child would totally ask. GoldenEye. Yep. I would, I wasn't the biggest GoldenEye fan on N64. Did play it. I thought it was a cool game. But I've just never been into first-person shooters. I think the best game for N64 was probably Mario Kart 64. But I could be wrong on that. I had an N64. But it was one of the many things that I sold off post-divorce. Meanwhile, in a parallel universe where people drink piss, bartender, what'll it be? Me, piss. I'll have the piss, please. Hey, can you hop on for a quick call? Can you hop off a quick bridge? Should I call Eric today and ask him about why Ranger Up is using my artwork without paying me any kind of royalties or anything? Pretty sure that's my intellectual property. And Tyler, how good of you to not buy a t-shirt from me, but to buy one from them. Don't know how I feel about that. Saying grace before smoking a cigarette, which means we've entered the cigarette memes section. My algorithm knows that I love me some cigarettes. It's our job as humans to get other creatures addicted to cigarettes. Cats, dogs, little babies. Anything we can do. Monkeys. I would love to see a monkey smoking a cigarette, a horse. Really anything I would like to see. Yes, we'll do a bowl of cigarettes for the table. I would love that. Let's see where the comments are at, because I think people are just talking to each other. Chase is here. Good afternoon. John, you should be chasing that Teespring money. Yeah, I'm really sure should be trying to get the $20 out of Teespring. Yeah. First meme, I'm not scared of them. I just don't enjoy their company, the bad ones. Well, I have no way of knowing what that was. What was the first meme? The first meme was, Muslim people. Is that what it was? You don't enjoy their company? the bad ones. Well, they're all the same, though. You have to remember that people who are Muslim are empowered by the religion to lie to you about what the religion really is in order to uh, lull you into a space where you can either be converted or killed. So they're all the same. You can be told that there's good ones and that there's bad ones like anyone else, but anyone who's a strict adherent to that faith will know that they can do whatever they want to do in order to defeat you as an infidel. Boy, you guys just, I don't even, this will be my last show. You guys just don't even want to talk to me. You're just talking to each other. You don't even need me. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. Moonlight Sonata is a classic. Thanks, Resident Evil. You know, I think that it was a good it was a good song before Resident Evil. Red and yellow makes orange. Honestly, Foxy. Okay, I'm just gonna move on. No fires here. Too much snow and rain here for that. Well, there's fires here, despite the snow and rain. Tetrasphere for N64. I never played that. I wonder if I could find that somewhere. Jonathan, I did buy a t-shirt from you. It took 6 months to get. Also bought 4 stickers. Took 9 months to get them. Yes, if only I was Ranger up. But do you see what I'm saying, though? That if you're going to another company that is apparently selling my artwork and then you're buying it from them, do you not see what you're doing and how that would be wrong? Okay. Appreciate that you bought for me, but you also bought my artwork from somebody else. I'm seriously going to check that out. I don't care if there's Pig Latin shirts being sold by Ranger Up that are different, but if they do have my artwork on it, that's a problem. I'm like going to fucking reach out to them and tell them to stop, because that's my artwork. I mean, unless they want to cut me in for some of the profits. They didn't even talk to me about it, so. Nothing beats cigarette popsicles on a hot summer day. Very delicious. I don't know if I could actually bite into that. Look at the yellow color of the water. I assume it's made with water. Oh, gross. I don't know. Smoking a cigarette and holding it with both hands. Let's see what that would look like. I'm up for it. I mean, that's something I can actually demonstrate. I have my Marlboros here. Smoking a cigarette with both hands. The thing is, you can't even see the cigarette because I use both hands. It covers it up. Whatever. Seeing my dentist at a grocery store. Hey, how's it going, teeth? Okay. Teeth. The evil dentist will see you now, said the evil dentist's receptionist. The evil dentist will see you now. Are beer and cigarettes actually bad for us, or is that just another government lie? They don't want us to have it. Sounds right. I wish the block button killed people. Do you have any idea how much trouble I would be in if that were so? It's my sincere belief that it doesn't really matter how many friends you have on Facebook or how many friends you have on Instagram. I think it's easy to be friendly towards people. I think it says something more about you if you're more discriminating about the people you have in your life. I think you should have a longer block list than you should have friends list, because there's more bad people than there are good people in the world. And so if you're one of those people that just goes along with everybody, then I guess you just, tolerate all the terrible people. So I think you should have a longer block list, but hey, that's just me. We've normalized enough It's time to paranormalize. I think it was time to paranormalize several years ago. The real body count is how many people are in therapy because of you. Yeah, no, it's not really how many people you laid. It's how many people are laying on a couch in an office now trying to get over you. These are not automatic flushers. These are cameras stealing your dick information. Why are we not talking about this? Recently it came to light that Pokemon Go is just using you to map the real world, I think, for Chinese invaders once GPS gets turned off. Once we're in actual wartime, GPS is going to be re-encrypted so that the common person can't use it, or that one side won't be able to use the other's GPS assets. And I think the public will lose the ability to use GPS. And it's possible that even invading armies will lose contact with GPS. But now, because of Pokemon Go, we've mapped out every street corner and we've taken pictures of all the Pokestops, all the important places in a town or area. And now an invading force, looking at this database that they don't even have, they could just download and look at it statically offline. They would have all the information they need to do land navigation very effectively in this country. We gave away our own country to Pokemon Go. When London was facing the prospect of the Blitz and an invasion, they took down all their street signs. Actually, lots of countries did this as the Germans advanced westward through Europe. They would take down the street signs because it would make land navigation for the incoming German army much more difficult. Well, we have handed over all the street signs already to the Chinese, thanks to Pokemon Go. So I don't know if you knew that you were doing that, but you have just been a collaborator to your country's demise. Hey, how's it going, Teeth? We covered that already. As for the dick information, I'm not real sure how that's going to help us during the war or hurt us during the war, but it's definitely not going to help us, I should say. It's unclear how the dick information will be used against us, but it will not help us that the dick information has been gathered. I'm going to need the rest of the day off. Why is that? I hate being here. I don't want to be here. I read another meme I didn't save this week, but it was basically to the fact that your boss should be required to let you leave early when it's a really nice day and you want to go have a beer. Thursdays at about 3 p.m. is when I want to go do that. I want to go outside and have a beer because that's the 40th hour of my work week. And it is when the county starts popping off. Everybody's getting out of school. Everybody's driving home from work to pick them up. Lots of things being busy. All right. Walk me through your resume. Yeah, so basically I did what it says on the paper in front of you, like I had this job in 2002 and I worked there until, 2007. And then I worked there for 7 months and then I worked somewhere else. And then, I've generally been trying to advance my career towards a goal of satisfaction and higher pay this entire time. And I take opportunities as they present themselves. And some of these things helped me grow and some of them didn't, just like your resume. She's so beautiful. I'm going to try to develop a secure attachment style. Guys, news from the therapy front. I've got to avoid an attachment style. I'm so used to people not being worth a damn that I do not care if they are coming or going. I will not have an attachment to them. The only person I can count on is me. My future wife is probably just taking a depression nap right now. Sweet dreams, you sad bitch. I love you. Wherever you are. Out there having a depression nap. I think it was Sunday was like International Nap Day or something. And that's why I enjoyed sleeping for 12 hours that day. Personal trainer, you need to start doing meal prep. I need one of these hot dog containers. You've got one separate for the buns so they don't get soggy, and one for the hot dogs themselves, and then just a little mustard. Throw that in a bag, all 8 of them, not for a picnic, but for your lunch at work. You are good to go. It's easy to be happy and nice, but the real power move is being miserable and nice. How am I doing? Real shitty, dude. Very bad. Can I help you move or anything? I think that's possibly a goal for me, is that even when I am feeling down and angry and miserable. I need to start still somehow being nice to people. Why would the government lie? Foxy, asking good questions. John, it's raining here. It's snowing here. I wish it was raining here. Intellectual property theft, that would be. Yes, would be a problem. Hey, Elijah, good to see you. It's okay that you're late. I'm here to make you question your sanity, John. Well, you're not doing a good job. I already knew that red and yellow made orange. I learned that when I was 3. So what I'm questioning is what value that adds to the conversation. You know, unless it was your toddler on the keyboard, that would be fine. John isn't wearing green. That's because I'm not one of those filthy Irish. So what are you going to do about it? I thought about it. I even before I came downstairs to the show, I'm like, I should throw on a green shirt. But then I'm like, I don't really have any. I'm like, I'm not fucking doing that. I don't care about St. Patrick's Day. Number one, I'm not Catholic. I don't give a rat's ass about St. Patrick. I don't give a rat's ass about the tradition of wearing green or somebody's going to pinch you. I'm not going to see another human being today. Okay. I'm probably not going to leave the house. Who the fuck's going to pinch me? And not only that, pinching is assault. So now if somebody pinches me, I'm going to fucking slug them, which is really an Irish thing to do. So if you think about it, that's the way I could celebrate St. Patrick's Day most completely, as long as I was drunk first. Hey, Pikachu was amazing too. Yeah, I'm so glad that the fake non-tangible Pikachu that you worked so hard to capture sold out our country's geographical data. Jonathan, I did buy a t-shirt from you. Yep, you mentioned that. I already read that. You also bought a t-shirt from someone who did not pay me any royalties or give me a cut of that. But we'll look into that at the end. It's autumn in Australia. It's not quite cold yet. It's kind of that perfect time of year between summer and autumn. I hope you enjoy it, Shorty. It's a good time of year to go motorcycle riding. I wouldn't know about the motorcycle riding specifically, but it is a good time to be outside. Longer blacklist. That's a kernel of wisdom I'll take from this live. There you go. I did something for you. That's not new. Pokemon Go has been known for that for years. I know, but some people don't know it. Jenny. And Jenny's the only one here who also knows that I play as well. So I'm part of selling out the country. Oh, Jenny, we need to increase the frequency with which we are giving each other gifts. I could use some more Pokeballs. They can't navigate the land with GPS. What makes you think Pokemon Go will help? What do you mean they can't navigate the land? The Japanese or the Chinese army can't navigate the land with GPS? Sure they can. The point is that now we have detailed maps that go beyond GPS that now include pictures. I mean, Pokemon Go has compiled the most detailed map of the real physical world in history. And if you don't have access to GPS, if you have access to that database, you have all the information you need. All right, Shorty's going to drive. She's going off to her work. It's raining hard there. Be safe as you're driving. She's wet from just walking to the garage. How many times have I heard that from a lady? Never. It's too bad your intellectual property attorney isn't here. Do you mean Michael Hendricks? Yeah, he might actually be able to help me. And I don't think he likes Eric. He might do some pro bono work for me. That's a great idea, Chase. Interesting. I might actually hit him up. If I find that Ranger Up is using my intellectual property rights, I would even send him money. I would even send Michael Hendricks money in order to basically be my barking dog to get them to stop. I see being miserable and nice already. Back to those memes. Thanks for spending your time with me today. Can you just fill out this quick questionnaire? Did I act okay? Was I cool? Was I fun? Did you have fun? Did I do anything wrong? Seems like something I would give to someone who was spending time with me. Self-representing in court. Yes, I killed him. Is what I would say if I was guilty, which I'm not. You literally are, though. Judge, don't be mean to him. Sounds like a Sarah Boone pro se trial. if she was going to be forced to represent herself. Every time I listen to my gym playlists, I am reminded that the CIA killed nu metal because it was too empowering for white men. We were. I think Linkin Park is the only example of nu metal. Who else is part of the nu metal genre? Should I ask ChatGPT? Because to me, it's just Linkin Park. What bands were considered nu metal? Let's see what ChatGPT. So it was the late 1990s, early 2000s wave of metal blended with heavy guitar riffs, with hip-hop rhythms, turntables, alternative rock, and sometimes rap vocals. The core period was roughly 94 to 2004, though many bands are still active. Korn. Now, see, that's the thing. I didn't get into Korn. Everyone else my age did. I think I was the only one that didn't listen to Korn. I'm not real sure why I held out on Korn. To this day, I've never intentionally listened to a Korn song. I'm sure I've heard them on the radio. Limp Bizkit. Okay. I listened to Limp Bizkit. Deftones. I don't think so. Maybe I should listen to some Deftones. Slipknot, I did not listen to either. Korn and Slipknot. Here's the thing: in my high school, all the I don't know how to say this. All the white kids, the Korn and Slipknot kids, they all kind of hung out together in this one area of the school, and they were kind of a clade or a clique, and I wasn't really cool enough to be a part of them. I wanted to be, but I wasn't really cool enough. And I just wasn't the kind of guy that wanted to be in a clique. I've always been a lone wolf kind of guy. Not like in a dangerous way. Like, obviously I never did anything, and then the rest of the school was kind of the rap, hip hop, thugalicious types. And I certainly didn't fit in with them. And then there were sort of the National Honor Society guys, and I wasn't really among them either. So I was just sort of out there on my own. So I think that's part of the reason why I shunned Korn and Slipknot, is because I didn't want to be part of their group identity. Then there's Linkin Park, obviously one of my favorite bands of all time. Papa Roach, I do like them. I've heard a few Papa Roach songs that are good. Disturbed, pretty good. I have I have quite a few Disturbed songs on my playlists. System of a Down, I also didn't like them either. I could be wrong, but I think System of a Down was I don't know, weren't they kind of political? Am I wrong? Mudvayne, Static X, Cold Chamber, Seven Dust, POD. Huh? I would never have guessed. Drowning Pool. Yeah. Typical elements included down-tuned 7-string guitars, hip-hop beats or turntables, rapping or rhythmic vocals, simple heavy riffs instead of guitar solos. Lyrics about alienation, anger, trauma, or adolescence. The peak of the genre exploded after Woodstock 99 and Total Request Live on rock radio. But by about 2004, the scene had faded as metalcore and alternative metal took over. To say nothing of the scourge that was emo. So by the time I was in college, that was pretty much the end of that ride. Important to remember. We already did these. What are they doing with that dick information? Yep, the hot dogs. Yep, did that one. Okay. So this is something else I wanted to talk about. People just write shit on images and call it a meme. The image don't even matter anymore. Last week, I postulated a sociological theorem in line with you can just post anything you want now on Instagram, and it can be a popular meme, and it doesn't matter what the text says compared to the image, and it doesn't matter if those two things are congruent. What I have started is an Instagram for Sydney Sweeney memes, which it's just pretty pictures of Sydney Sweeney. Very beautiful woman, easy to find lots of pictures from her. And what I do is I clip text from guys like Joey Manarino about, the state of the world and, things, what we think about Islam, East-West relations, political stuff. I take the text from those memes and I combine them with a picture of Sydney Sweeney. I have not been terribly active on it, but I've been somewhat active on it. That Instagram is blowing up in comparison, just the standard set by my own personal Instagram. So all that really matters is posting pictures of Sydney Sweeney and maybe having something slightly conservative to say, and you're golden. You know, if I really wanted to, if I wanted to just forget the Comm Center and forget doing this show and just buckle down real hard on doing that, I could actually probably turn that into a money-making enterprise. So for all these reasons and more, this will be my final episode of I Stand Correct, in which no one even will bother to click this in order to give me a few dollars, but it is fine. I will just go post pictures of Sydney Sweeney that you can find anywhere. And I will eventually cultivate that into a monetary following. My self-care routine is mostly just going to Mexican restaurants. I did that twice yesterday. I went to 2 Mexican restaurants. I compared 2 Mexican restaurants. I had one for lunch, which was not so good, and one for dinner, which was much, much better. Great way to end the day. I would thrive as a castle guard, leaning on my spear, leering at the wenches. Move along. Hail, citizen. Halt, and so on. I told you that when I worked at the prison, I really enjoyed saying halt to people and that it was very effective. There are certain phrases that are just bring out some sort of Pavlovian instinct in people. Like you'll hear police officers and others tell you to sit tight. They say, hey, sit tight for a moment for me. Sit tight, buddy. You're going to sit there and you're going to be patient to the ends of the earth because they use the magical word sit tight. Somehow it's super effective on people if you say sit tight. You understand instantly that you're to remain here and you're to be patient and that the person who said it to you has the authority to command you to sit tight. Halt is similar. Halt is rare. Halt is in more harsh situations, but halt totally works. Halt is a way of saying stop, but it's the use of force is almost implied. I love halt. It's great. The fact that most CAPTCHAs are based on robots not being able to identify bikes or traffic lights does not fill me with confidence for self-driving cars. We talked about this a couple weeks ago, the shooting in Houston, that one of those driverless vehicles got in the way of an ambulance or a fire truck or something. But yeah, they're programmed to recognize, we presume, other vehicles. But the whole point of a CAPTCHA is that a computer can't analyze a picture and understand that. Which, by the way, if I sent one of those CAPTCHAs to ChatGPT and I said, which of these squares contains a picture of a bicycle, I bet it could do it. So aren't we at the point now where CAPTCHAs have been made obsolete? I would think we were there. We talked about that already. Getting held up in the alleyway. Assailant. First of all, excellent word choice. Assailant. I want to be described as an assailant at some point. I'm the assailant. I'm assailing you. I'm an assailant. Professional assailant. Give me your money. Me, excited to finally justify carrying around a takeout container full of wasps, not knowing that the wasps died a week ago. Hey, unlikely. You open up the takeout container. It's full of dead wasps. You were supposed to feed them. Unfortunately, they only drink human blood. My neighbor just told me about an alien sighting he had that was just a regular Southwest Boeing 737 in the sky. But he said he could see into the cockpit with binoculars. Yeah, the cockpit's on the top of the plane. The plane's traveling 500 miles an hour and is 500 miles away from you, but I'm real sure you could see into the cockpit. He said there was an alien flying it. There was an alien flying a Boeing 737. You realize that is the perfect cover, right? If aliens want to come here and do their nefarious business of enslaving the human race or whatever it is they have going on, they're flying around in these like conspicuous spacecraft for which there has to be a huge conspiratorial cover-up, information, counter-information, reverse information, misinformation, anti-information. Cranks have to be found. Useful idiots have to be found. Patsies have to be found. Plausible alternate scenarios, plausible deniability. Government denies all knowledge. We have to have all of this. Wouldn't it just be better if for the aliens to just fly around a fucking regular airplane? I get that it's a little bit slower than your saucer, but just what you'll make up for in not having to cover up your UFOs. You regain, the trade-off's even, because you have to spend so much time covering up the UFOs. You have to spend so much time, effort, and energy making it look like you're not flying these things. You could just chill out and relax and do the same amount of time, because it's slower to fly in a 737. Just fly around in a regular passenger plane, do your nefarious alien deeds, abduct people do their surgeries on them in the 737, and you can relax much of your flight time. You don't have to be constructing alternate scenarios of why all these unidentified aircraft are in the sky. Why aren't aliens smart enough to figure that out? And you don't tell me, well, aliens don't have access to Boeing 737 technology. Are you kidding me? I think this may be the smartest take I've ever had on the show. That aliens should be more practical and just use a Boeing 737. It's strange. There is a setting on every toaster to completely burn the bread. You ever notice that? I know we're kind of throwing back here. I think toaster technology is one of those things that's going away. I don't think people, maybe it's just because I don't have a toaster. I don't know. But for some reason, you can crank it all the way over to 11. You can crank it all the way over to black. Why is that? Why is there a setting on there for you to just completely annihilate your toast? Is it so that you can feel like a more reasonable person when you set it to 5? You're like, I just want middle of the road toast. I'm not an extremist. Maybe it's just because Americans always want more power, so we want to feel like the perfectly cooked piece of toast is an act of restraint. We want to know that we have the power to completely destroy this toast, but in order to make it perfect, we have to demonstrate and actualize some self-restraint. Say, we're not going to completely char this toast. We're going to make it, something more moderate. It's an act of moderation to perfectly cook a piece of toast. Has that ever occurred to you? That and the Boeing 737s being flown by aliens is what I am charging you to think about this week. People ask me to hang out. Bro, even my neighbors only accidentally see me. Yeah, no one's asking me to hang out, but yes, I only kind of come and go under cover of darkness to make sure my neighbors see me, never see me. I think the most noble death would be to just be so calm, so utterly calm, so tranquil that my heart rate just falls to zero right in the middle of a meeting. To get totally zen right in their fucking faces, to borrow a phrase from Fight Club. Just be so calm, you pass away, slip beneath the waves of consciousness itself, and you are gone. And the others will be grateful because your death will almost certainly delay the meeting. When your alarm goes off and you have to go to work because you didn't die in your sleep, that's the way I feel most of the time. This week, my alarm's not going off and I'm not going to work. So I just sort of wake up whenever I become conscious, and then I lay there for another hour. It's nice. This is a good week. You guys really need to try this staycation if you have never tried it. Take a week off of work, but then the key is to not make other plans. Because I was very tempted to make plans. I was like, gosh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to clean out the garage. And I'm going to be so busy catching up on this, that, and the other thing. Well, luckily for me, somewhat luckily, I would say, we had a big snowstorm come in. And so on Sunday, I kind of just had to accept the fact that there was nothing for me to do. There was nowhere for me to go. I had prepared for it. I knew it was going to be snowed in, and it kind of set the tone for the week. Although I had kind of a busy day yesterday. I had, made one plan for the week. Now, Tuesday, I have nothing. After this, I have nothing. Tyler, I could hypothetically broadcast the rest of the day if you want me to. Should I just leave it on? Should I just come back whenever I want to I feel like talking more on the show? I think YouTube, if it sees a static image in silence, after a while, it just turns it off. So it probably wouldn't work. But hypothetically, I could, because I don't have to pack up my computer. Let's see where we're at with the things, because we're about done. And then that will be the end of the show. We have only a few more memes left to go. My intellectual property. Might be reaching out. We'll check on that in just a minute. We're going to look at Ranger Up to see if they're using my artwork, because I'll have a serious problem with that. I think I'm waiting for you to send me a gift. I have 250 great balls. About to throw away because I'm out of space. I would send you. Okay. Don't throw away great balls. What are you doing? Somebody in Washington, D.C. called me. People doing that. Give the app a minute to fire up. On my older Smith Tech 500 phone, it takes a little bit to turn on. Shit, I didn't tell anyone I had a good idea. I don't need that kind of reputation. Well, don't worry, Chase. As a firefighter, I don't think anyone's ever going to think of you as an idea person. I'm just kidding. It's too mean. How does this work? Friends, you sent me a gift. Open that. Okay. From a smoke shop, no less. What have you been doing there? There, send. All right. You got that from me. Enjoy. Creed. Yeah, I don't know. I think Creed was more of a traditional rock band. So was Third Eye Blind. Third Eye Blind had some really upbeat songs. Semi-Charmed Life. That was really upbeat. Yeah. Okay. Well, he's deriding it. Here's the thing, Tyler. Canada, the only submission that you have had to the popular music world, unfortunately, is Nickelback. So you're disqualified from really having any meaningful weigh in on the conversation of what constitutes good music. If I went back to school, I would do it so much different. I realized that I could have done so much more if I had faked the confidence. Since no one was really cool, it was all a made-up construct. Yeah, I probably would have been the same way. I just wouldn't have worried about it so much. I was completely consumed by how I appeared to others. And if I had been more confident, my life would have been a lot easier. But how do you give confidence to, a 15-year-old boy? It wasn't possible. I just have to live with the outcome. Coldplay, no, not part of nu metal. Creed, no. Take that back. Emo and pop punk are amazing. I was listening to a little. I was scrolling through Spotify yesterday during my long drive, and then I came across some Fall Out Boy, and unfortunately, it didn't age well. Didn't enjoy listening to Fall Out Boy. John will become Sweeney. John, I've also learned that standby makes people more patient than saying wait or one moment. Yeah, standby works pretty well. It's kind of radio talk. Yeah, I'm not sure you would say standby to someone in person, but standby is one of those things. Yeah. People in authority use that language. Maybe. I don't know. Tyler, why don't you give it a shot this week? Lauren, always good to see you. Frozen bread, but still ends up burnt to shit. Why are you toasting frozen bread? Why would you do that? You can microwave it a little bit. You could defrost it in the microwave, I think. Those are minute on most toasters, so I imagine that how dark it would be changed due to how many factors: bread type, humidity. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, you have control over a lot of different toasting environments. You make a good point. Altitude, salinity, barometric pressure, all things that factor in. Could be also that when we only burn toast with a good power supply, with less power, you might need to crank the toast up setting. That's interesting. Don't you think that most electricity, if it's up to code in a certain house, you're going to get a certain number of amps or voltage or whatever that's going to be fairly standardized? I mean, unless you're living, in a farmhouse and maybe your voltage is somewhat uncertain. I don't know. You could be right. I guess I just wonder. Why do you have a setting to where you can burn it to shit? Marine's blood, not here. I guess he does not following his own Discord, because was there a post about me going live? Tool and Corn. Semi-charm kind of life was about crystal meth. Really, I need to pay closer attention to lyrics. Now that I think about it, I have no idea what the lyrics were about. Fall Out Boy was one of my first concerts. We are at odds today, sir. I didn't say that you couldn't like them. I would even go to a Fall Out Boy concert with you, but it would be mostly just to spend time with you, not to enjoy Fall Out Boy. Oh, that was kind of nice. Up to code is key. Yeah, Canada electricity, you probably have some sort of weird plug and everything's metric and none of it makes sense. Just something to think about. Guys, stop doom scrolling. Put down your phone and take a doom walk outside. Drink some doom water. Doom breathe. Don't doom scroll. That's the thing you shouldn't be doing. Thank you for the gift. Things may suck now, but at least it's not as bad as it will be soon. Guys, try to think on the upside. Things kind of suck right now, but they're going to get a lot worse in the future. So enjoy it now. All downside from here. So long, suckers. I rev up my motorcycle and create a huge cloud of smoke. When the cloud dissipates, I am lying completely dead on the pavement. That's how I want to go out. Suffocated on fumes, but before that happens, I say, so long, suckers. You know, they should really take another hour every night until there's no more time left. So let's wrap things up. That's it for the memes. I want to do more than just watch Buffy. Is that what you've been up to lately? Watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer? Did they bring that show back? One must wonder. What do we have here? Put it on the screen. Nope. Partners, Eric Tansey. Okay, I did not make this one, so that's fine. My skate park t-shirt. Okay. Everyone wants to be country until it's time to be country. Don't know what that means. I think those are his Soul 3 t-shirts. So, yep, no need to sue. Yeah, I didn't make that. The artist at Simon & Schuster made it. The guy who cut me out made that. So it's fine. That's completely above board and fine. So no need to sue, I guess. Go and get more of those. It's absolutely fine to go buy those t-shirts. They canceled the reboot for Buffy. I wish they would cancel the reboot for the X-Files. That's still coming. I'm thinking about doing a video. I'm thinking about doing a whole channel just based off for X-Files stuff. I'm thinking about it. I see these channels that just they just show clips from a show, just stills, and then they literally just narrate it. They don't appear on screen or anything. They narrate it. They read a script, and they'll get 25,000 views, and they'll be monetized, and they'll make all kinds of money. Guys, you've seen that I can make assets. Why don't I just throw up some fucking pictures on a screen and write a script, which I'm perfectly capable of doing, and just make money that way? Why do I appear on screen? No offense, and talk to you guys and nobody even clicks this. You know what I mean? What am I doing? It's all a waste of time. I heard they did Scrubs. Anyone watch? I have watched the first 3 episodes of Scrubs. I need to watch the 4th episode that just aired this past Thursday, but perfectly good. They picked up pretty much right where they left off on season 8. You could ignore season 9 as sort of a spinoff or whatever. But all of the energy is there, and there's a lot of good acting. Donald Faison has a really good scene in the first episode, and you get to see some of your favorite characters, and they kind of step right back into where they were, and the new characters are actually pretty good. So it is a top recommend for me. And you know, I don't ever watch anything new, so I really like old TV shows and all that. So I guess I really highly recommend it. But I was always a big Scrubs fan from the start. I watched the first episode premiere because I just thought it was hilarious, even from the promos before it was ever on. I'm a nobody. You're not a nobody. I said I would go to a concert with you. to a band I don't even like. I feel like that was nice. I feel like I did my part. We all are, Jenny. Shorty, I can't hang out with you because I would have to give documents to the government to go to Australia. Got to go change a smoke detector. Good luck. Good job. I wish you the best of luck. Hi, nobody. I'm Lauren. I love Scrubs. We'll check it out. Absolutely. You go for it. I don't have anything else. Yeah, Tyler, you already are at a lower status there because you're Canadian. But I do appreciate that you bought some merch from me. So thanks for the money. You mean nothing else to me. Yep. So this was the last meme, just to clarify. Nothing else to do. If I ever visit America, we'll hang out. It's a big country, so you think that you'd be hanging out with me, but where I live is really not in the top 100 list of tourist places to visit. So be very surprised. Anything else? Anybody want to call me, or should I just go back about my day? Should I just go check on my dog? Scrubs was great. I don't trust the decision of the new generation of writers. I think it's all the same writers, though. The thing is, the three executive producers on the show are Donald Faison, Zach Braff, and Sarah Chalk, though. So it's the three stars of the show that are the executive producers. And the guy that created the show, Bill, whatever, whose name I'm forgetting, he's involved in it too. So I think it's all the people who made the show before. I know what you're worried about, that it's like going to be new writers who will ruin things, kind of like how they ruined the X-Files or they ruined Star Trek, The Next Generation with Picard or whatever. Like, yeah, I mean, Star Trek definitely is an example of how a new generation of writers can ruin an intellectual property. I get you. But I think the people that are making Scrubs are the same people who made it before. If you watch it, just try watching an episode or two. You will feel like you were watching an episode of Scrubs from, 2013 or whenever it went off the air. Sorry. I was talking to Jenny, John. Well, this is my show and you're all at my show. And I guess I have some pretty stupid ideas about how people should be talking to me here. But if Shorty was here, you could visit a common location. That's true. Where would she want to go, though? I guess I could meet her wherever she's going. I'll give it a chance. Yeah, try the first episode. Just actually, if you watch episode one kind of stands on its own as to if you watched it, you could just view it as a single self-contained episode of Scrubs. And you wouldn't necessarily, it does. There's storylines that get opened up by it, but you wouldn't have to continue watching after that. You could just see it as like, you could almost watch it as like actually, in some sense, if you watch the last episode of season 8 and then you watch this episode, in some ways, it just kind of feels like an epilogue. It feels like, this is how it turned out. And it's not bad. This is our show. We're all in it together. I'm doing the only one who ever does the heavy lifting of collecting the memes and appearing on camera. So again, if anyone wanted to donate a few dollars, that would be fine. Someone with good bike riding. Well, she's a motorcyclist and I'm a regular motorist. So although I like driving, so I suppose I could drive my vehicle anywhere she would like to motorcycle. I think Utah probably has some good roads to motor on, whether you're motorcycling or so we could all go out there to Utah and motor around, I guess, see the Salt Lake, the Mormon churches. I don't know what else Utah has. Lots of women who like to commit murder, I guess. That's also very common in Utah. I don't know. All right. I suppose that's it for me. So Drew right now is actually down in Atlanta. He's going to be, I think, at the courtroom proceedings for the Hannah Payne case. He lands there in a couple of hours. He'll be in Atlanta. So this Thursday, I think we'll be doing some kind of live remote, him detailing what's going on with Hannah Payne. Will she get a new trial? Will anything good happen to that poor girl? One would hope. Not because everyone else doesn't send you memes that just aren't up to your caliber. All right, you got me on that one. Really made me look like an asshole on that one. I'm definitely not Captain Planet. I always hated Captain Planet, to be honest with you. Shorty, shut up. Yeah, I posted 2 of your memes over the years. I don't have anything else. Should I just start the show over? Should I just start talking about Kouri Richins again? Just play the theme song again? And sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. I like my own memes, guys. I mean, that was originally the point of the show. At one point, for very briefly. So the show was Comm Center coffee break, and then it became smoke break briefly, I guess. And then I think for about a week I called it the algorithm show because it was about what was in my algorithm, and then I realized, it's not really that catchy. And then I just named it after my Instagram because then I'm like, well, then you have some synergy with your Instagram. So plus, I was somewhat opinionated on many episodes when I was still paying attention to the world, and so it seemed kind of cool. I stand correct. Kind of cool, I guess. A lovable asshole. Still hurts to hear. I was going to call, but I have nothing of importance other than teasing. You can still call me. You can actually call me when we're off the air if you want. I don't care. You just chat. I don't have anything to do. I'm available the rest of the day. Nothing to do. Nothing pathetic about that. All right, guys. I appreciate all 8 of you watching. We only had 2 when the show began. So those of you who are hanging in and watching me as I babble about nothing, you guys are the best. So thank you to Jenny. Thank you to Lauren. Thank you to Shorty Rides, way down there in Australia. Thank you to Chase. Thank you to Elijah, who was here briefly. No thanks to Abby, who is not here. Where is Abby at? Foxy was here at one point. I don't know if she's still here or not. Just thank you to everyone who did show up, everyone who did watch, and to everyone who watches later. Somehow these episodes still get quite a few watchers. So if you watch later, what I want you to do, if you made it to this point especially, well, leave a little comment down below letting me know you watched. If Butter Queen watches this or whatever, leave a little comment just saying if you liked it or if you didn't like it or whatever, because I'll get a whole bunch of viewers on it, but I don't know who those people are. So if you're someone that knows me, if you're one of the commies, one of the inner circle or what have you, just let me know you watched it. Not to improve my algorithm, but just so that I know that you care. That's all. It's just nice to know that you liked watching it. If you're like Butter Queen or you're Felony Melanie or you're Salamander and you're one of these people that, likes to watch my show, tally you, just put a little comment down there so I know you watched. Because I can't, you're not in the comments, so I don't know that you're here. All right. Well, all right. You guys have a good day. Call him now, Jenny. Take the call on the air. What a conversation that would be, I'm sure. All right, guys. I will see you in the future next week. Maybe I'll do another episode this week because, fuck, I don't have anything going on. Who knows? We will see you in the future. We'll definitely do an episode on Thursday about something. Have a good one.